Communication is essential to carry out your everyday life. Without communication, many simple tasks could not be carried out effectively, although sometimes communication is much more important than just something in day-to-day life. Communication also plays a key role in carrying out many missions in the United States military. Thousands of men and women have served maintaining equipment that makes this possible, including Master Sergeant Randy Plummer. Born on October 19, 1964 in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, Plummer is one of 6 children. In his senior year of high school, Plummer made the decision to enlist after seeing what President Ronald Reagan was doing for the military. He signed the papers in June, just after graduating, and left for basic training in October, a few days after his 18th birthday. Plummer's decision to enlist in the United States Air Force came from his interest in electronics. After enlisting, Plummer traveled to Lackland Air Force Base in Texas for basic training. Several hours later, he and his fellow recruits were met by their drill instructor. At Lackland, he learned the basics of serving in the military and performed fitness and strength training daily. After basic training, Plummer attended technical school at Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas. He was a teletype maintenance repairman. He received training in electronics and learned how to maintain the Model 28 teletype. Throughout technical school, Plummer had to complete tests at the end of each block, which consisted of written and performance sections. Plummer's first assignment was Beale Air Force Base in California. He was there from 1983 to 1986 and was a teletype maintenance technician. He was also cross-trained with 2 other specialties, Dusty and Crypto Maintenance. Keeping the communication systems working is essential because it is how the entire base communicates. While at Beale, Plummer needed to obtain a security clearance. The clearance he had to obtain was higher than most due to SR-71s and U-2 spy planes being stationed at the base. He had a top-secret clearance with special compartmental information. The process for obtaining this clearance consisted of doing a lot of paperwork, having his background, police records, and financial records checked, as well as talking to references. After obtaining the clearance, every 5 years he was required to take a lie detector test. Plummer and his wife Sheila also had their first child, Chris, in 1985, about a year before being reassigned. After Beale, Plummer was assigned to Osan Air Base, Korea. He was there from 1986 to 87 on a remote tour, meaning his family had to stay back. This was difficult considering he had a young child back home. While in Korea, Plummer was part of the 51st Communications Squadron, which operated on a 3-week rotation, traveling between Osan and Yongsan, an army base in Seoul. The rotation consisted of traveling to Yongsan to do preventive maintenance on teletypes, being part of the trouble call team, which would be called if the equipment was broken, and the 3rd week was spent in the shop, where they would work on equipment there. After his year in Korea, Plummer was stationed at Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina from 1987 to 1995. Reunited with his family, Shaw was a favorite of Plummer's.
Well, at Shaw, it was probably my best assignment, my most favorite assignment.
At Shaw, Plummer was still working with teletypes, but he was now part of a mobile communication squadron, the 507th Tactical Air Control Center Squadron. In 1990, Plummer and his wife had their daughter, Brittany. However, Plummer was deployed only a few months later. Plummer was deployed to Saudi Arabia during Operation Desert Shield. The 507th Tactical Air Control Center Squadron was the communications for the 9th Air Force Commander, General Horner at that time. They provided him with secure communications as well as data interpreted from AWACS planes. Plummer returned back to Shaw in early 1991, right before Operation Desert Storm started, and remained there until 1995. In 1995, Plummer was retrained and assigned to Pope Air Force Base in North Carolina. He did have the opportunity to stay in his original career field. However, he would have had to separate from the military when his enlistment was up, which would have given him only 17 years. He would need at least 3 more years in the military before he could retire, so he decided to accept being retrained. Plummer retrained and became an education and training manager, first working in the education office and then as a base training manager. In the education office, Plummer worked with tuition assistance, helping other members stationed at the base attend college. Then, as a training manager, he managed the training program for the mission support squadron he was in. Plummer remained at Pope until his retirement in 2005. Throughout Plummer's service, he received multiple medals, including the Kuwait Liberation Medal, Humanitarian Service Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Good Conduct Medal, Air Force Achievement Medal, Air Force Commendation Medal, Southwest Asia Service Medal, and the Meritorious Service Medal. His first Humanitarian Service Medal sticks out to him specifically because of what it was awarded for. There was a bad flood while Plummer was stationed at Beale, so the base became a shelter for the civilians in Yuba City. Being part of the communication squadron, Plummer was able to put families at ease when they called for their loved ones.
That was very rewarding to be able to put somebody's family's mind at ease that there was nothing wrong with their loved ones.
He also received multiple awards. When Plummer retired, a retirement ceremony was held with his squadron and family in attendance. There, not only did he receive a retirement certificate, but his wife and kids did also. Master Sergeant Plummer enlisted out of high school and served in the United States Air Force for 22 years, 3 months, and 4 days before his retirement in 2005. He was faced with some challenges throughout his military service, such as being away from his wife and young kids, and being forced to retrain after 13 years. Nevertheless, Plummer continued to serve his country to help protect our freedoms. Thank you, Master Sergeant Plummer, for your years of service.